Hey guys, my name's Rich and welcome to It's All About the Noise. This is a brand new series called Beyond the Noise. We're going to be talking to former and current professional basketball players, professional football players, and people who are embedded in those industries. It's going to be great to chat to them about their early life, how their early life in sport influenced their professional careers right now, and how sport really did make that difference.
Never trip about a clone, cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't making that. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz.
Hey guys, welcome to Beyond the Noise, and it's an absolute pleasure to introduce my first guest. Not only is he deeply embedded in the local basketball scene and across the UK, but he's also a personal friend of mine as well. Please welcome Tom Walshaw. Tom,
Richard,
thank you for coming
thanks
down.
for having me, Rich. Great to be here. Appreciate it, mate.
First guest on Beyond the Noise.
Lots of nerves.
Lots of nerves. Are we okay?
I'm good.
We'll calm
No,
those
we're
as we go
good,
along.
man. Come on.
We're going to get straight into it. So, for those that don't know Tom, legend in the basketball industry, at the Buzzer UK is huge around the UK, but it's not for me to tell you. We're going to let Tom discuss that first. Tom, tell us about what it is, first of all, that you do in the basketball industry.
Well, I started an independent jersey business 4 years ago now, with an aim to provide value and affordability in that space, also eliminating people purchasing fake jerseys. So I've been collecting many years. So I thought if I can, provide a quality product for people at an affordable price, then that was kind of my aim for At the Buzzer UK, just coming off the back of me being a collector.
Amazing. We're going to talk more about At the Buzzer UK later on, but I think it's right that the viewers get to see where it all began. So growing up, what was your background in basketball? How did you get involved? Was it a big thing at school? Talk to us about it.
Funnily enough, no, because our school, I grew up in the northeast, small town called Gisborough, shout out northeast, in Cleveland, and it was very rugby and football orientated. I played both sports, but basketball was my passion. To be honest with you, basketball came into my world via Channel 4, so talking late 90s. It was when they got the license to show NBA games, and then that was kind of my window into the game. So seeing these superstars, I think it was a Thursday and a Sunday they were on, they got 1 or 2 live games a week, and then I started getting the magazines. You remember the monthly mail order magazines? Yeah. So I just read them cover to cover, and that was the beginning of my passion for it. That's kind of how I got my dose of basketball and started to play from that.
So, and how did that get seen when you were at school then? Because did you have many friends that were into it as well? Because obviously looking back in the 90s, was it big in the UK back then?
It was. I mean, they just introduced the Adidas courts, which suddenly made it accessible for people to play rather than just a school gym. You had one in your local park. And I think my passion for it through just self-educating, watching little guides on what your little dribbling guides and skilled guides. I got my close friends into it as well. What started was I started a 3-on-3 team. So without having any team experience, we kind of just kind of.
So how old were you then?
Goodness me, I'll have been 14, 15 maybe.
Just a few years ago then.
Richard, goodness me, eternity ago. So yeah, we started literally just like practicing together. I entered a 3-on-3 tournament in a local town, and fortunately we won that, which was fantastic, which got us into a further tournament in the northeast at the Metro Arena, the Sunny D 3-on-3, if you remember Sunny Delight.
I remember Sunny Delight. Wow, I do.
Great for your team.
Yeah.
And then from there, when playing in that tournament, we got picked up by a team in Middlesbrough. There was just like a coach scout there, and then I started playing in Middlesbrough then as well. So just kind of totally enveloped.
So you did it yourself really, and you kind of set up the team. I'm guessing you brought the players in.
Yeah.
Who set up the opposition? Did you do that as well?
Well, our first competitive games were in the tournament.
Wow.
But we played with friends against each other. So I remember booking out the local sports hall, and there was just a load of kids. And I mean, it was chaos. I'm sure there were barely any rules followed, but we were just loving the game, passionately playing. And we'd always be practicing on the local hoops.
But that's how you get into it, isn't it?
That's it.
Just the love of the game first of all. Yeah. The rules probably come a little bit later.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, because I was digesting the game so much, the rules, I'd work the rules out and you kind of just pass it on to your friends. But yeah, we had some good times.
Amazing. So did you have any influences from basketball back then in the 90s that really shaped your mindset in basketball and got you even more obviously they got to Michael Jordan, so that watching him work
maniacally almost at his craft, and you know that will to win attitude. But because of my age, Kobe Bryant was, I think, 2 or 3 years older than me, so I was very much a Kobe kid. Growing up, you know, I had his trainers, and you know, I win the dunk contest, and then it was just kind of like that, seeing and learning about their mindsets and how they got there. You know, via interviews where they say, not just work hard, you know, you've got to want it, and I feel like that was really quite impactful on me as a person.
You can take that into your future life as well, can't you? Which is fantastic. So obviously that's from a basketball influence. What about any personal influences when you were younger, from family members, friends, anything like that?
Well, I always had a tight group of friends who I could rely on and trust. I was very much like that. I had a lot of friends, you know. I enjoyed people. No, I like, you know, people is what, you know.
But you're very much a people person anyway, aren't you?
Well, people make the world go around, you know. They give me energy, and I enjoy chatting and stuff.
Definitely.
But my family really, like my parents always worked super hard, but they were always the parents that, like my mum and dad would always be the parents that took the other kids to sport. They'd always have a car full of kids.
I think my friend was very much like that. He had a big van, so everyone jumped in.
That's what I mean. There was always a certain set of parents that, like, whatever sport it was. So, you know, they always have my back on that front, and that's, you know, that's carried on. And I feel like I know my grandparents were quite entrepreneurial as well, and they had like market stalls, and like they were independent businesses, and like, so you don't realise, I think, back then, you know, is that something that stuck with me, you know, in terms of going into my future. So
that was when you were younger. So obviously that's carried on into later life as well. So what does basketball actually mean to you?
Well, it's almost, it eclipses being a sport, you know. I think I know from being a kid playing, breaking down the barriers of meeting people is huge. You know, you got to experience different cultures, you got to experience at a young age, you know, you get so many different people, so many new faces playing the game, and you'd be meeting all these people, and you'd be travelling to play, and you know, you're dapping up, you're conversing, and it's always like I found it a positive place, you know, in terms of just the experience, the game, the people surrounding the game, you know, felt more open-minded than, even though I love my football more, maybe more than that crowd, in the sense of, you know, inclusivity, etc. And that has really just, it's given me so much from a young age, and it gives them the same feelings I get now, the people I've met, you know, when I met yourself, the doors it's opened in terms of communication and friendships and relationships, and obviously I'm sat here now as, you know, an independent business owner, which is just crazy,
isn't it?
That's so wild.
Good. But it's important to have those values, those good values. So what do you think what did you take from basketball to give you those good values in life?
Teamwork, inclusivity and drive, really. They're the things that I think have really stuck with me, you know, but mainly the inclusivity and the team ethic, and you know, that it's on the court, there's only 5 of you, you're relying on each other, so communication is super important, trust is super important, and you've got to do your shift, you've got to work hard. So I think that's kind of stuck with me as well throughout life, you know.
Definitely. Let's talk about Sharks on Tour. you put this together, and I think, you know, they're getting noticed now around the different arenas in UK basketball. First of all, why?
Why? Well, touching on loads of points I think we've made in the last 5-10 minutes, sharing positive experiences. So it was me and Tom Bolton started off on the...
Shout out to Tom.
Shout out Big T. Just obviously doing the SLB Arena Tour, which was the BBL Arena Tour.
Of course.
And we just thoroughly enjoying it, and it felt so untapped. You know yourself, many other sports have got that. You know, your ice hockey have even got quite a good way of support, and like rugby, obviously football's another level. And then I said to Tom, we've got to put a minibus on for a local trip. You know, this is really going to work. And from that point, I think it was Leicester Riders away mid last season.
Went to that one.
You did, mid last season, and it hit as I thought it would, because you were and fortunately the right people came along. You know, I've met some fantastic people through the Sharks on Tour, and we have such a good time. People work hard. People have got many responsibilities in life, many stresses. I don't want to use a word, but you know, there's a lot going on. So to be able to come away from home, enjoy the company with
space as well as
people.
Yes,
you're laughing and joking. You have you're singing a clap, and it's because of the way that British basketball is set up and the way that the clubs are run. I feel like the barriers are not there that maybe are in other sports. That you can really feel the club, the players responding. You know, it's not something that I would say is a commonplace where to have such a vocal support corner.
But it's also been well received by the teams where we've gone as well. So like your Riders fans, they've seen it and gone, oh, this is amazing.
Well, I mean, they've had
a
supporters club, longer than we have, and they do travel well. But as I said, as I saw, I've seen with my own eyes at the Cannon Medical over the last, and I'm sure yourself announcing the games, the response to an away support, home support, it lifts the atmosphere.
It really
does.
Does.
You've been there in Cheshire, you've been there in
Newcastle,
exactly. You've been to the arenas, you've been there with us,
Yeah.
and you feel it announcing at home. When you're Leicester's, when you're Newcastle's, even when London came up at the end of the season when it mattered, our crowd responds.
Yeah.
So you're bringing energy to the game, and people are having a good time, and we're trying to be positive.
Which feeds into the players. So you're having a huge, effect on not just creating that safe space, creating that Sharks on Tour family, but it's going onto court as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've heard back from players. What have you heard from the players and managers and coaches?
Because again, as I said, because it's such a. They really appreciate it. They're so vocal about it, from Coach Atiba to Marco to Sarah to Yuri to the players. It's not just me. I mean, I put it on, but people choose to come. It's not just me. I put it on, but if nobody comes, it is what it is. So they do support it, and people are coming back, and you get a rapport with the guys. They all have their own songs, and the team and the coach and staff, and it's just a better game experience, as you're all about that, obviously.
No, I 100% agree. So final bit on that.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite moment from your Sharks on Tour? Like you said, you started it maybe a season and a half ago. It's a standout moment from a Sharks on Tour.
It just has to be a see us lifting the cup this year. That was absolutely unbelievable. To see Rod, rocking the trophy down in a motor point, and then fireworks and being with everybody like yourself, and we're all just leaping on each other and singing.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
It's special, a special day.
There's been some amazing moments, but that one eclipses it. Right.
Yeah, but
for now.
Oh yeah, for now. We came so close, but for now, that's the one. That's the one. Fantastic. Lifting the cup. Yeah, brilliant.